My name is Stacie Lamar in association with Z2H Network, and welcome to Choppin' It Up. Now, for those of you who missed the hype, Choppin' It Up is an open forum where a group of people such as these get together and we discuss any and every topic. I'm talking nothing is off limits. Nothing at all is off limits, y'all. So before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce or allow them to introduce themselves. We're going to start on the end over there.
I'm Roman G. Pelham, Z2H Network. Tap in and tap out. We stay open like the hospital, a.k.a. Mama's Boy.
Hello, my name is Christina.
My name is Jeff at It's the Jeff Experience on Instagram or at Hair Money Mr. 2 on Instagram. I do hair massage and I'm here to give you my opinion on whatever it is you want to know.
All right, with that said, today's topic is the American public, or the people that are currently unemployed due to the pandemic, are they being unreasonable for being hesitant on returning to work? Okay, we're gonna start with Jeff. Go ahead and chop that up, man. Are we being unreasonable for wanting to start back to work?
Well, in my opinion, I think that people should be wanting to get back to work, as soon as possible. But I also believe that people should be weary as well. There's more than just one disease and one, all these different COVID situations and things like that going on. So people are kind of scared to go back to work. But I think that we do need to get there, but there's a long road ahead. I don't think it's just going to jump straight back, if it makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't think that we should be rushing as fast as we are. Is my personal opinion.
Okay, all right. So
only like special workers, certain people do need to work, obviously. But
right.
I think that I don't see this. Me personally, I don't see the sense in putting people back to work, getting them back going to work when you don't know what's really going on. It's like, oh, this is the situation with the COVID-19. We have to quarantine, right? Everybody's quarantined. We're all in one situation, and then you go ahead and you look. Then they say, oh, we're going to let you guys out, but it's getting worse. Why would you let people out if it's getting worse? Mm-hmm. I just didn't get that. So, now they come with the vaccines and different things. So those are just my ideas about that, getting back to work. Why I wouldn't go so fast if I was scared.
Okay. So in your opinion, you're saying that it's more the uncertainty of the COVID situation,
right,
as it is, wages or whatnot.
Right. You have some people who don't want to go to work because they're just lazy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting that EDD money, or they have somebody supporting them, but you have others who are like myself who want to work, but you just have to be like really careful about who you do, because I'm in the service industry, so I'm touching people, dealing with people, so it's kind of hectic for me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Christina, go ahead and chop that up. Are we being unreasonable for
I was
wanting to
going
go
to
back to work?
piggyback on what he said. It's kind of scary. I work in a hotel. Mm-hmm. I work with a lot of people from a lot of different areas, and we're one of very few states right now that still is wearing the mask. So these people are coming in, they're not wearing the mask, and you are at risk in a sense. Mm-hmm. I was furloughed for 6 months, and then when I came back, it was very scary for me, because still there's people coming from all types of areas. You don't know where they're from, even different countries, and they could have it and they could give it to you. It's a very scary thought. Then there's the other thing. I happen to want to work, so I go to work, but I'm actually making $100 less a month by going to work than sitting at home and being on unemployment.
$100 less.
Oh. So, but because I want to work, I continue to show up. Mm-hmm. But I can't blame people that are working, like, say, service jobs, that they're making probably double what they would make if it was a normal time for them to work. Like restaurants, these kids, they're making like maybe $400 every 2 weeks, $500 every 2 weeks, and then they're turning around on unemployment and making $600 to $800 a week, or every 2 weeks. So what's the incentive for them to go back to work when clearly before they weren't being paid enough? That's what's really coming to light. Mm-hmm. And are we going to get better wages? Are we going to get paid more money? Like, all of these companies, they all are making money, but they're not paying the employees that, And so that's where I feel, I guess, some type of way, because, basically for us to come back to work, we were taking a lot of things that we get extras that are like commission type things were taken away because the company doesn't have the money. But yet we're taking a pay cut by coming to work, or I took a pay cut by coming to work when I could have just stayed home and collected EDD.
So just to clarify, is it like $100 a week, a month? What?
No, it's like 25 to like $40 every week.
Okay, but it's still very
But
significant.
for me to be back at work, I'm actually losing from what I was pre-pandemic. I'm actually losing around $1,000 a month because of the cuts that they had to make in different things that they were giving us. So, it's not a good situation.
So is that permanent? Like this
I
is
hope
your
not.
salary right now, and
Right
that's
now, yeah.
it? Or is it like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then after everything smooths out, you go back to where you is it?
I mean, that's the prayer, and hopefully the loyalty of going back to work and being one of those very few people that was willing to go back. Hopefully that will pay off in the end. Hopefully.
Okay, good points. Roman, same question, man. Chop it up.
Let me be the first to say that I didn't receive stimulants. I didn't receive EDD. I own my own businesses. So me owning my own businesses, there's only a couple of ways you can go with this. Either you turn your game up, or you stop doing business and you ask the government for help. So the government came in and gave all these businesses help, correct? So in saying that, when they brought all the employees back, when they said it was cool, they dumped them again. So a lot of people came back and had to leave again. So then when the government gave that money to the businesses, they were kind of looking like, okay, so what do we do now? Okay, well, we're gonna have them file for EDD. All right, well, they making more money. So now we gave the business money to make sure that you could pay your people, and now they paying them less, versus now I can stay home with my kids. Now let's talk about that for a sec. I think I got a minute left. So your kid's been home for 6 months doing virtual.
Right.
Did you leave your kids at home by themselves? No, their parents was home with them trying to help. So you had to teach your kids at home with the teacher on screen, right? Then you didn't go to work. So it makes sense to go get your money out the mailbox than it is to go to the office and punch in the clock. Now you get an opportunity to teach your kids, right? So that's that. The problem stands is a little different. Meaning, like, do I go back to work because I want to work, or virtual learn? Now it's summertime. Where the kids at? They're not having camps and stuff for kids because of COVID either. Right. So the parents still got to stay home. So the problem is, what are we doing in the communities to assist these parents and kids in the needs of not just financial? Because you can go to get a box of food somewhere, but you give your kid $1,000, he gonna go buy a gold chain, some Air Force Ones, and an AK-47. I'm being real.
Yeah. Okay, man, that took it to a whole nother level. You brought up some points that, and that's what this show is all about, y'all. Just so you know, that's what this show is all about. Is to take something that people think they have a crystal clear idea of what they're thinking. It's black and white, crystal clear, but you just put a whole nother spin on it. You know what I mean? Now they got something else to think about.
Yeah, and the dispensaries and cannabis levels went up too, because everybody got money to spend on it now.
Okay. So with the reveal, and what that is, y'all, with the reveal, basically what it is I'm gonna go and reveal what I found on my research on this particular topic. And I get it from different articles that have already been written, and surveys and whatnot. So I take that information and I take the similarities in all those articles and surveys, and I compile them into what I'm about to reveal here. Now, basically, what all of you said is pretty much what was said during these articles that I went through, except for no one brought up yours though. It was more or less about the wages and the fear of the uncertainty of whether or not we are actually through this. But it was more so about the wages. And like Christina said, minimum wage isn't enough to for me to come off of that when I'm going to work 40 hours now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go give my time for 40 hours and I can't afford to pay my bills.
Okay.
I mean, what sense does that make? None
at all.
Not in my opinion, it makes 0 sense for me to work 40 hours and maybe sometimes even overtime. And I can't afford to pay my bills. And I'm not, most of these people aren't living extravagantly. Hell, some of them, basically the only way they're surviving is they have roommates, where you got to go put your name on the orange juice, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah,
Come on, that's real. Don't drink this. My orange juice. Or they're at home with their parents. Living in the basement, trying to kick down mom with a little something for letting them stay there. But, what good is that? Especially if you have any sense of pride. If I'm a man and I'm staying at home with my mom I'm not feeling too good about myself.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? I am not feeling good about myself at all. But I'm working a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
So, yes, people were afraid of the uncertainty about, is it going to come back? But they were more concerned about, what sense does that make?
Yeah.
Stacie,
can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
The question I want to ask is, okay, anytime somebody loaned me some money, I had to pay it back. Okay, I just want to say that. All right. Nobody has ever given me some money and didn't ask for it back, or somehow, some way they want some services or they want something. So where are we at with that? Where are we at to think that you just gonna get $10,000? You can't even get that from the lottery or any other.
It's like
you can get that when you
$40,000.
go to Vegas. I mean, and they offered another stimulus that's supposed to be coming. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to just know where the money's coming from. First of all, because they said we had none.
Well,
That part right there.
Okay, hold on.
So,
Let it go.
They said we had none. Now we in an opportunity that they're giving us money. Well, I won't say us because I ain't getting it, but they're giving out money, and that money is going to have to come back, 911. So if your wages are down, that might be a little bit why. That might be why these jobs ain't taking you back either, though, because they got $50,000 to make sure their business was running. Why should they bring you back? So the business is on the same level too. They just got $50,000 from the government. There's no reason to bring you back. I might as well pay somebody less.
But that's also the thing too, is there's been a lot of employees that have declined wanting to come back. And therefore, by declining, they're losing their job, basically. And what's going to happen when that $300 a week runs out? What happens then? And now everybody needs to go back to work because they're only making like $100 a week or whatever, on unemployment. Now you got to go back to work and you don't have a job. And now you're among the millions that don't have a job either because y'all made this choice. What then? Then what happens there?
Jeff, you want to chime in on that one?
Oh, yeah, sure. I was just going to say that I believe something that people aren't even looking at, really paying attention to. I think that the government is more on trying to change the currency. So that's why they're trying to implode, it's going to implode from the inside out. It's like they're giving out stimulus, it's giving everybody this money, I believe, to go ahead and blow the dollar up so that you'll have to go digital and get crypto, some form of cryptocurrency so that they keep tracks on you. Because when you have money, you have tangible dollars, then they can't really trace or track you, and they can't see every transaction, everything that you do.
Exactly.
Versus the fact that if you were to go ahead and get it online to where, let's go ahead and jump into Doge, let's jump into Bitcoin, let's jump into, if we're on all these different platforms now that we have, it's like a parent that puts the tracker on your phone that says, okay, I know where my kid is at, I know what he's doing.
Right.
So it's more of that. I believe that and then we know where it comes from because the money comes from a private institution called the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank came into being after World War II. We were in debt, all that kind of stuff. We had to pay, and they said, well, how can we pay? Where are we going to get money from? When you appeal to somebody, you want something for somebody, you have to appeal to the investor, right? So the investor is like, what are you going to give me? Well, I'll give you the U.S. citizens. Then they came up with this thing called what? Social Security number, all that kind of stuff. So now it's time to pay. You have these people that were sitting there like all this time, like, hey, my kids are in there with $9 trillion. We're going all these, we're in there. But you don't know that China owns a lot of these things. Did you know China bought Walmart? Did you know China is buying up all these Chinese investors are buying up so much things, and we're going to war with people who own where we are. You think that they say in North America is the safest place in the world. Why? Because of where we're located. because we'll see you coming. But we're also the most open country to where they're already here. They don't have to come. They're sleeper cells. Just my personal opinion.
They at Disneyland and Knox. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
So right. And I would just piggyback off him too. I didn't get a stimulus or a check or anything like that either. Not one red cent, and they did not. I tried. I ain't gonna say I didn't try. I tried. They told me something was wrong with my paperwork a couple of times. I said, you know what? I think it's Jesus trying to tell me leave this alone. So hey, good luck to y'all.
Leave it alone. Yeah.
All right, all good opinions, y'all. Appreciate it. But like I said, most of the people polled or surveyed were either considered, because you guys brought up some good stuff, and like I said, what I want for this show is to take something like these people. It was crystal clear for them. It was like, I don't want to get sick again, and if I go back to work, I can't afford to pay my bills. That was it, crystal clear, black and white. But bam. Y'all brought up a whole, this is stuff for another topic. You know what I mean? So, that's, good. So basically right now, we're going to leave that one alone. All right, so we got another hot topic for a discussion. And this is threefold. Are professional athletes paid too much money? That's first tier. Second tier. Are professional athletes required, hence the word required, mandatory, to be role models? Okay, and finally the third leg of this is, are mandatory that they do so, professional athletes required to give back to their community, or just give back in general, not just their community, but give back in general. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Roman, we're gonna start with you, man. Go ahead and chop that up.
Oh, we're gonna start with me. Why? Because I'm the only athlete in the building? Okay, that's fine.
For sure.
That's fine. Jeff, no points.
I ain't gonna say that, man. You know I play. I'll let you do your thing. I'm about to
Well, hey, let me start by saying this. One, to be a professional athlete, I mean, we as a kid, we've all reached out and decided, you want to be something. You want to be a superhero, or we've all put a towel around our neck and think we can fly. So as a professional athlete, I can only speak on where I tried to get there, I tried to be there, but only 2% make it. 100 people try out and only 2 people make it. So when you ask the question of, do we think they're getting paid too much? I have to say, I'm going to say no, because most of those guys been doing that their whole life. Meaning from the time they was 5 years old playing football to the time they was 17 graduating to the time they was in college for 5 years. You know what I mean? If you think about that, they go to school more than half of their life. If you 35 years old and you just finished in the NFL, well, you went to school more than half of your life. So when you're saying that, that's just like somebody going and getting a degree and getting a job like an attorney or anywhere else. It's a craft, it's a trade. And just so happens that trade pays you okay. So.
Okay. Christina, your thoughts. Go ahead and chop that up.
So we're doing like the first one? And
yeah,
then
we're doing the first one. We're going to come back, yeah.
Okay. No, I don't feel like they get paid too much. Like, I'm going to piggyback off what he said. Add on all of that they have to put in their entire life pretty much to get good at it. The ramifications, the health ramifications that they take, like the hits that you take in football. Like, most of those guys that played football their entire careers are on pain meds. They have all kinds of issues. There's, I don't think it's too much at all. That's just my opinion.
Chop that up, man.
Oh, man, I would just go ahead and to piggyback off of Roman and Christina, I'm also say I don't think they get paid too much. I don't think they get paid too much because I'm gonna look at it from a different perspective, not only from like the player's situation, but from a business person's perspective. It's like you gotta look at it from the owners and the people that are actually making money. They're making a lot more than what these players are making. So it's like they get a percentage of the profit, like any other business. You decide, do you agree to make this? Okay, yeah, okay, and then you come on in and work. So these people, think like Roman was saying, they get up at like 5 a.m. I got a few guys I know that coach their kids. They coach other kids. They're up at 5 a.m. Nothing but buckets from 5 to 6 p.m. You know what I mean? That's all they do is they're running. They're doing this, and that, getting involved in all different types of camps and things. And most of them steal don't make it. You see what I'm saying? So then when they do get the opportunity, because they have the resources, they have the, they also, not only that, because talent doesn't get you in to the league. There's a billion talented people. It's your resources. Who do you know? Everything else is grandfathered in. Somebody has to know somebody. We're gonna make some stuff happen. That's how families that's how you get 2 and 3 people into the NBA that's in the same family, or 2 or 3 people that's into it's not just because they were just great. They've had ties behind the scenes. So I don't believe that they get paid too much, but I do believe that I think that they could get I actually like the new idea with these max contracts, to where now there's not, they could actually get more logos, more payment, more endorsements from other people, to where say you could go ahead and get a Chopping It Up sticker put on LeBron's jersey while he's out there hooping. They're like, what is that right there? And now he's getting a cut of the Chopping It Up because he's promoting you. I think that's great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, good points. Go back.
Or were you gonna go on the second?
Yeah, we're going to go on the second.
Because
I'm gonna start with.
Okay, because the only reason why I wanted to say something about it too is because that there's a lot of stuff changing in the colleges right now. Which has to do with the pandemic. The kids now get another year. So instead of 5, it's 5 to play 4. It's 6 to play 5. So now you a college, you get 5 years to play. Okay, that's what they did for you. They get, it's not 3 acres and a mule was basically on a business.
Right.
That's how you're gonna get it, or be in college because they're gonna give you another year. Now, if I'm coming out of high school, that's not gonna give me enough. That's still gonna. If I was in the pandemic while I was in high school, I'm still gonna get that 6 to play 5. So now that's kids already graduating. We got kids like Taylor Hawkins, Iggy. Those kids that are at San Diego State right now. They finished, but now they're going back as grad assistants and playing.
Right.
Grad assistants normally don't play. Now they get to play. So the reason why I'm saying that, Stacie, is because there's going to be some changes to where all your top athletes aren't going to go to the major colleges no more. They're going to the black schools.
Okay.
Wow.
You know why? Because the coaches at the big schools are getting the same students, but those coaches at the black schools ain't getting the same money. That's another topic.
Yeah, that's most definitely.
And they also need to be paying women in men's sports more equal.
Yeah.
More equal. Not,
That's
I know, that it's hard to get it to equal, but they need to be making more, the women. They do. They're charging to get in, they can pay them more.
Yeah. Like Roman said, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it is.
That's a whole other topic right
We gotta
there.
bring some more women in here.
All right, so Christina, so the second leg of this this conversation, are professional athletes required to be role models?
I mean, I don't think so. Honestly, they're making millions of dollars. There's a lot of people in this world making millions of dollars that are not good people.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's saying, you did X, Y, Z, and you make $1 million, and people watching you, and people know you, so you got to behave this way. No one's saying that to them. So why is it a different standard for basketball players or football players? I don't understand.
Okay, so now when you're saying there are a bunch of people making millions of dollars that aren't good people, I mean, we aren't referring to like Papa Chacon or anything like you talking about. You're talking about like I don't know.
I mean,
CEOs
these are probably
and stuff
people.
like that,
Yeah, these are
right?
people
Okay.
probably you don't know unless it's in your real life. You know what I
Okay.
mean? No one holds them accountable.
Okay, all right.
That's just the way I see it.
Roman, should they be role models, or should they be required to be role models?
Let me say this again. We can't just grab somebody and put them on a pedestal and say, hey, you a role model. If you're a role model, that started way before you got to the NFL. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just as a man, that's what we got to talk about. Because now you got to remember, these dudes stand up there like it's a chopping block. They stand up there in their underwear. They tell them to turn to the left. They tell them to turn to the right. It ain't no different than what happened in 1900 slavery days. Ain't no different. I want you to run over here. I want you to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. Or this is going to happen. Yeah. Okay? So when we talk about that, that's a hard one. Because a role model, again, is somebody who, they had to have been a role model. Because as soon as they mess up, they in the media right away. Right away. No matter what. If he stubbed his toe, he got turf toe, he in the media. Yeah. Okay? So when you say that, I think they make you have to be a role model. Why do you think, what's the one dude eats Skittles? Skittles? Yeah, he eats Skittles during the game all the time. He played for Seattle.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch refuses to do interviews because he don't ever want to incriminate himself. Because he is from a neighborhood to where that he constantly goes back and does stuff for. So he talks like that. So all his interviews always say the same thing. Did we win today? Did we win today? They keep asking the same question. Did we win today? That's it. So a role model can't just be put on a pedestal like, I want you to be a role model. You got to already know that coming in,
Okay. That's a good point. Jeff, go ahead, man. Chop that up. Should they be role models?
Man, I think that in a sense, I think everybody, while they're at work, needs to carry themselves with a code of conduct.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
When you're at work, you're at work. There's a code of conduct. There's certain things and criteria that go into this business, regardless of whatever business it is. We're now talking about professional athletes, whether it be baseball, soccer, professional water polo. It don't matter. It's just that when you're on the game, when you're doing your job, then you should carry yourself the way that your employer wants you to. And then when you're off the job, I think you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to. It's like, I'm not at work, and this has nothing to do with you. If I had my work shirt on, if I'm out, if I could see if the football player or the soccer player, whoever got their jersey on, and they're out sniffing dope, or they're out there stabbing people or doing crazy stuff, you're like, oh, dude, what kind of role model are you? You're making our team look bad.
Right.
But because my face is my face, that had, I appreciate the fact that you want me to hold myself in such esteem, but sometimes I just lose it and go out. That's just the way I believe, man. I think.
So one of the basketball players had popcorn poured on him.
Oh yeah.
I think that was Westbrook. So the thing is, he's going in the locker room. A fan throws popcorn on him, and they had the interview with Westbrook, and he was like, "You got to understand something. If we were outside of here,
I would have hooked him up. I would have put these paws on him.
I would have pressed him. like straight up.
And the thing is the only reason that it is the way it is because they have the media on them. Because anybody who has the media on them, they're going to act different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We can say we act a certain way at work, but we can do whatever when we leave because no one's watching us.
Right.
No one cares what we do. That's the whole, the whole thing. And it's just, that's what it really is. It's not that we really want them to be the standard. It's that there's always a camera there to expose when they do wrong. They're humans just like the rest of us.
And I don't want to see my favorite athlete on TV like that. Somebody that I think I look up to or my kids look up to. That's the worst thing. Like, dang, man, what happened now?
I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be like, man, he's human. Yeah. She's human. Stuff happens. This is the perfect teaching example. Exactly. This is a teaching time. Yeah. Look, see how no matter where you are, son, no matter where you are in life, daughter, things can happen, and you just gotta make better decisions.
No matter how much money you make.
No matter how much money you make.
Nice.
You got. Nice. It's not about how people press you. It's about how you respond.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's nice. All right. Third leg. Jeff. Should they be required to give back? Should they be required to give back to the community?
Now, this is going to sound a little different because I'm a black person that's from the South, and I'm more like a Republican view. So I'm going to say I believe in working for what you get, If you don't work, you don't eat. So if I'm out here shooting in the basket, I'm shooting these baskets, I'm hitting these baseballs, I'm out here running on this soccer field, why should I give anybody anything unless I want to?
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I work for it. If you don't work, you don't eat. That's the way I grew up,
Yeah, that's real talk right there. All right, Christina.
I have to say I agree. It would be nice if they, had a nonprofit or put money in, or it's always nice to see when a player goes back to say their own community and does things for their community. It's always a great thing to see, but I don't think it should be required.
Not mandatory,
not mandatory. They earn that money.
That's right.
Like, how are you going to tell somebody? How are you going to tell me? Oh, you got to put money over here. I know you went to work. You earned this money, but now you got to put it over here.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Thank you very much. Go to get a job for yourself.
Mm.
I'm trying to tell you.
Roman, chop it up, baby.
First thing, let me say, when you say that, what does it mean? Like,
so basically, so I'm not gonna do the reveal just yet, but I'm gonna take like a little segment that I read.
I just want to make sure I'm responding right.
So basically, as a community, let's say the community that the athlete grew up in, we'll keep it simple. You know, they got behind this person, and you know, let's say they sponsored to make sure this person had uniforms, or you know, they got behind this person, and now that this person has made it and everybody is proud of him, you know, go Richie, and Richie says, "Hey, thank you, bow."
But see,
I'm out.
Listen to what you said though. You said
required.
Yeah, you said
required.
But also too, you said that it was a community that got behind them.
Well, I'm just making it easy.
I'm making a point.
Yeah.
The people who come back and give back, or to those people you was just talking about, to the ones that was there for them when they was in a junior in high school and needed a ride, or when they needed uniforms and that local business bought uniforms. Or I remember the time I was playing against junior police and I knocked a baseball to Bob Hope's house. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you know, you know all those things. Those are the ones you give back to the people who gave to you.
For sure.
Okay, like right now, I would come back and give to my high school coach. He passed away, God forbid. But I'm just saying, the people who changed my life, who were there for me, athletically, even if it was, man, you better get out and do what you're supposed to do. Those are the ones you come back and give to. You don't come back looking for them. You know why? Because they still stay in your life. They still stay in your life when you get to the next level. So you're not obligated. It's almost like that was a part of life, was I'm going to give to you and I ain't going to charge you nothing as a coach. But when you make it, bro, you better come back and shoot me that Porsche.
Or give me a front seat at the thing. Let me go to the game or something, you know.
Don't say hi, mom. Say what's up, coach.
But it's not so much as I agree with that. I just don't see so much as them being required. Like I have to. Then you want to go back and give to the people teams, that got behind you.
I don't think the players need to do that. The teams have to do it because again, they making the money. The real money is being made at the ticket sales. So then the team itself needs to be required, not the athletes. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Those are good opinions, y'all. Now, this one was, I chose these two topics to talk about because they actually tie in, and I'm going to tie them in right now. So I'm going to do the reveal first for the athletic ones. There were some really strong, powerful statements regarding this. I'm going to do this one first. It says, in a society where salaries and wages are traditionally based on the value of one's work, in today's society, one should be paid accordingly to the job's economic importance and their value to society. So basically, whatever it is you're doing, you know, based on the level of importance to the society, you know, that's how your wages should be determined. And then it gave an example. Teaching is one of the most economically important occupations because our future economically relies on the education of its youth. Yet teachers are paid astronomically less than the average professional athlete is. In fact, each basket most basketball players score earns them the equivalent of the average classroom teacher's annual salary. Now, in this person's view, because, you know, like I said, there were a lot of similarities, but I just chose the most powerful ones that So in this person's view, he's saying that, you know, teachers, you know, are important. They're teaching our future, but yet, you know, we don't want to pay them. Now, I'm going to chime in on this one from a personal note. You know, my mom is a retired teacher. She had to buy her own school supplies. You know, for her kids to use. What makes sense? You know what I mean? Again, this is my personal opinion, but I just didn't see what sense that made. But yet, she's teaching our future. The kids that are coming up and we're gonna pass the torch to these people. All right.
Oh, real quick, can I say something? Sir. I wanted to say this before when you asked the question, but I wanted to speak on teachers as well. But when you asked about do professional athletes make too much, I didn't know if I could go and swerve off topic as far as that. So teachers, I believe that teachers and our military should get paid astronomically more. Why? Because one, determines, they educate us and teach us how to read, write, and learn how to live, and the other keeps us from being slaves. So I think that we need to go ahead and take care of them. That's just my personal opinion. Go ahead.
Okay, that's in there. Roman, you got something? Go
ahead. He hit it. I was on the same time.
I want to know, like, how much do coaches make though? Because you think about it, like coaches, and then you're the coach for a football team, and now you coaching this guy, and he's making 1.3 million a year, and you making 30. Does that make sense?
Okay, but again, that's another topic.
It is.
All right, so I'm gonna go to another powerful statement that I thought was it was like I was like, wow, okay, that woo. All right, so this person went from the teacher. Now there was another person that stated because their rebuttal to the teacher comment was they're responsible for a classroom full of kids.
No.
Hold on now. One classroom full of kids. That's what the rebuttal was. So, take it accordingly. They're responsible for like the group of kids around this table. That's it. So they're good. All right. So then an answer, a rebuttal to that rebuttal was, all right. So obviously, basically this person must not be aware. He went from teachers and went on to another important person. Must not be aware that the most important man or person in our nation, the president, who makes critical decisions that affect the entire world, is only making $400,000 a year. So while the president is hard at work reviving the economy, and whatever else they have to take care of, an unproven rookie is earning 3 times that.
Rookie what?
Any sport. Any sport.
Yeah, he got that in the same bonus.
And then this person goes on to say, and this is what you touched on, police officers, firefighters, doctors, they all risk their lives. These people all save lives. And then in the military, these people, they enlist and they go and fight for our country. They don't even know if they're coming home. They don't even know if they're coming back. It's like, or when. But yet and still, they are not paid anything. So, you hit that nail right on the head. So for the gist of it is, from, all the research I did, was there are more important occupations that should be paid. They should be paid more. But yet and still, we funnel all that money through, sports, entertainment, and whatnot. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I am a sports fiend. Okay.
We ain't gonna talk about the team you like either.
Yeah, you don't go there. If you were to cut me, little footballs would come out. Okay. I am a fiend.
Yeah.
However, I happen to agree with some of the things that I read in here is that although their body, they do put in a lot of work. There was a guy in here that said that, like you said, Roman, you said 5 a.m. Where I'm in college and I'm partying and I'm studying, the average student, while I'm doing that and getting a degree, athletes are putting in maybe 3 times more what I'm doing. Okay. And then another person said that take into consideration that their career ends at 35,
And that's a high number.
And that's high.
Exactly.
That's high. It really kind of depends on what position you play. Because how it is like
what sport you play.
Yeah, exactly. And because Tom Brady is like 80, so so it just depends. But with all that said, though, like I said, 35, your career is over when when most people can go until 65 or whatever, so they got a little longer. But so with athletes, I do understand you got to get it while the getting is good. I'm healthy. My junk is over at 35, 25, whatever, depending on the sport and the position. But I still think it's a bit much.
Can I chime in on that?
Yes,
real
sir.
Quick? Okay, so I do believe the reason that a lot of people don't know how a lot of things work. So in the background, the president gets $400,000 a year, right, for 4 years, which is pretty good. You know, you're like, okay, that's great money for a person, but even though he does run the whole world, he should get more, right? But a lot of people, like any job, it comes with benefits. You see what I'm saying? There's a package that goes. He don't just get $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
He has he has the best security that you could ever imagine.
For life.
For
And
life,
he's not
and his
paying
family.
for food. He's not
I mean,
paying
all
rent
that
at the
stuff.
White House. You know what I'm saying?
But then let's get to the French benefits. This is where it's good at. He gets to make deals all over the world behind the backs of people that nobody knows for his businesses.
Yeah.
So his $400,000 a year is okay. That's pennies in the bucket. But I'm making billions over here, trillions over there because of my investments. See, he's gonna get his money. Now, when you go ahead and bounce back off of, you talk about the athletes, they make what they make because they have the draw. It's like, oh, you have this person, so we're going to give this person more money because we're going to make more money off of this person. Now you give it to college sports when they're not getting paid, and all that money goes to the school, but the coach gets paid. That's going to that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's the kind of problem I see with that. That's why I was talking about the $400,000 in the president. That's just where I was going with that. That's why.
Well, college players are going to
Benefits.
start getting paid soon too. That's supposed to be in effect.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. All right. So what I'm hearing from you, is that due to the amount of work that is put in, I'm talking about the athletes, due to the amount of work that's put in, and the longevity or lack thereof of their careers, then they are fairly paid. Their wages, I mean, it's spot on. They're good. Okay. Yes, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
All right. The role model, they are not required to be role models. I mean, they can do so if they wish, but they're not required. There was one person that I read in here. He said that they're not required to be role models, but they should be aware of the impact
That they have. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's real. That's real talk right
That's
there.
why they need to have a private story on the side of their public.
Many of them
Yeah,
do.
they do.
All right. So from what the group's saying is that they are not required to be role models, but I think, like I said, that they should be aware of the impact that they have on the community. Now, as far as the required to be giving back, again, I think everybody's in agreement there that no, they shouldn't be required. Like Roman said, you are going to go back and give back to people that influenced you, influenced you in some way. Whether it was your first grade teacher that said, you know what, you can do that.
That's right.
Or a coach, or your mom, or your dad. There was one last thing, is that a lot of people said that the parents should be the children's or role model. Now, the reason why I put these two topics together is because I wanted to say that sometimes it's hard for the parents to be that role model. Why? Because of the wages that they're being paid, the minimum wage that they're being paid.
Absolutely.
A lot of them are working 2, sometimes 3 jobs.
So
to put food on the table for Junior, to put a roof over Junior's head. So how can I be a role model in my son's life other than, hey, dad is a good provider, when I'm never there?
But that's why you get them in a good program with a good coach.
When I'm never there,
the
you know what I
point.
mean? So this person was saying that that's an unfair statement. It's unfair to put the parents in that situation when they're doing all they can to provide for their families, which is really first and foremost. You got to provide and take care of your family.
And it's kind of, I think it kind of runs hand in hand as well, though. Like, you had these kids, you should be able to take care of them in every aspect of it, not just financially. You can buy a watch, but you can't buy time.
Right.
You buy a house, you can't buy a home.
Well, see, that's what they were saying.
Yeah,
the time. It's the time.
Correct.
And it's hard to compete with, an athlete which is on television 24/7, good or bad. They're on TV 24/7, and it's hard for the person that's working like that to compete with that. It's just hard.
True, but also us having children, we need to understand that we need to be their role models, and we need to be in control of what they're seeing when they turn on the TV. You know, it's nobody else's responsibility to make sure that they make good choices. It's ours as being parents.
I was gonna say, and be an example in front of them. You know, we do our stuff. Whatever we do. But in front of the kids, you have to set the example on how you want them to live. I tell people all the time, kids will do what you say in front of you. They'll do what you do behind your back.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
So you have to set the example in front of them.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That is it for this episode. If you agree or disagree with what was said here today, please leave your comments. I'd like to know what you got to say, because I know you got something to say. This is Stacie, Lamar. This is Chopping It Up. We'll see you next time.